This is the time. You have managed to gain traction on your streams, receiving subscribers over the last few months, but you're still not satisfied. But you're still not satisfied with the quality of your content. No matter what you do, you feel like your gear is holding you back. It is time to upgrade. Alright, the second part of the trilogy is here, let's go. This video is meant for the vast majority of streamers that I have encountered on Twitch, who may not have the biggest tech brains out there, but are able to learn things on their own. I have decided to call this category of people, I can do some tweaking. I can summarize a person from this category as a person who knows why OBS is better than Stream Elements. Same as last time, we'll start with audio. With professional audio gear, you really want it to be one of those things that lasts for years or even a lifetime, which is why I would recommend just ditching USB microphones altogether and going with the audio interface and the XLR solutions. The reason is that over time, as you do different tasks, grow and produce content on all types of social media, you will want to be flexible with your resources, with the possibility to record audio into the audio editing software and process it live, or record high-quality audio straight into the camera or audio recorder, or to be able to connect your instruments, or to be able to work with audio sources from multiple PCs at the same time, or have a podcast with multiple people in the same room. And there are many more reasons why the flexibility of an XLR system, albeit sometimes more expensive than just going with the USB route, is a lot more future-proof, and dare I say,
professional.
If you decide to stay with USB, you're technically not limited in any way, as you can use OBS plugins to separate audio channels for individual control, record multiple audio tracks at the same time as streaming, and do all of the audio processing such as adding compression and EQ, and even voice changers through the use of VST plugins or apps such as VoiceMod. So even with the normal USB microphone without any dedicated software, you're almost fully covered in terms of streaming. That said, all of that will take a lot more resources from your computer, possibly slowing down your stream or game. Also, with this configuration, you will be relying a lot on the unstable software such as VoiceMod or OBS plugins, along with the fact that there is no actual way to accurately monitor your audio other than watching your own stream live. And finally, no matter how much you tweak your microphone with audio filters, there's only so much you can do adjusting things in software, which I have found the hard way. In my case with the HyperX Quadcast S, no matter which polar pattern I set it to, the sound of the fans of my laptop was still very prominent. I was also able to EQ out the boominess and the harsh sibilance, but because of the 16-bit audio and subpar preamps that it has, I still had frequent clipping problems and the noise floor was always way too high. Finally, due to the nature of the microphone being a condenser, my completely untreated room did not make it any favors. If you're still set on getting a USB microphone for whatever reason, then my recommendation for you is Elgato Wave 3 at 140 euros and Rode X XCM50 for 169 euros. Nice. Oh, and also Rode X XDM100 at 285 euros if you need a dynamic USB microphone. I swear, they just named those microphones X Condenser microphone and then X dynamic microphone, whatever. I assume you already know the difference between condenser and dynamic microphones, but if you have no idea what I mean, then condenser microphones have high sensitivity and detailed sound, making them great for voiceover in a treated space. Dynamic ones have low sensitivity and blend the sound details together. They are very good at isolating sound source when it's close to the microphone, even in the less treated space. Comment below if you want me to make a more detailed explanation, and I will make a video explaining it in greater detail. Okay, now the reason why I recommend these USB microphones is because all of them come with their own software for routing all of your computer audio, mixing it together and sending it to your streaming software with the volume levels already adjusted, which is incredible for streaming. Not only that, but you can use the audio processing in all of these microphones to make it sound better. With Elgato, you can use any VST plugins that you have. However, all of the audio processing is not done internally on the microphone, but on your computer instead, through their software, in a similar way that the OBS does it, whereas Rode has their own internal audio processing. All of the applications from these manufacturers have submixes available, meaning that you can set the audio on stream and your headphones to be at different volumes if you so prefer. Rode also has a bit more routing options in terms of streaming and recording, as apart from the broadcast stream mix that you output into your stream and chat mic that only has your microphone as an output, you also have the recording mix, which is a separate mix that you can use for anything you could possibly want. For example, getting rid of the music in your recordings while still having it on stream. Cool, right? Elgato, however, really makes up for it by integrating beautifully with their StreamDecks that you already likely have, let's be honest here. So you can tell it, hey, on the starting soon scene, I want my music to be loud, and I don't want my microphone to be on at all. But when I switch to the intermission scene, I want the music to become quieter and my microphone to unmute. You can do all of that with a StreamDeck and the Wavelink software. And with Rode, unfortunately, the only way to adjust the volume is to drag the sliders up and down on your screen. However, if you're streaming and recording from OBS at the same time, there is a way to save your audio as separate audio channels so that you can change loudness of your teammates or your music or your game in the video editing software later. And that works with any mixing application such as Elgato Wavelink, Rode Unify or Beacon Mix Create or anything else. Like this video and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss a video about it. If you already have a sound treated room and prefer condenser microphones to the dynamic ones, then Rode NT1 5th generation that they have literally just announced at the time of scripting this video is a no-brainer, as it can be used in either USB or XLR mode while having high quality audio with either type of connection and being supported by any of their mixing softwares. I'd be thrilled if Rode decides to send it for a review someday. Imagine that, I'd be fangirling like crazy, eh? Okay, now about audio interfaces. With audio interfaces, you get a lot more flexibility, as many interfaces and mixers have basic audio processing such as EQ and compression built into them. If you just need a way to connect your XLR microphone to your computer, then I still don't recommend to spend anything less than around 100 euros, because again, your audio gear needs to be solid. Cheapest option that everyone knows about, let's be honest, is audio interfaces from Focusrite, and another relatively cheap option that I would trust is Rode AI1. They're both a bit over 100 euros. But that said, for just a bit more money, you can already get Wave XLR and Go XLR Mini, which also adds a very solid way to mix your audio. They cost around 150 and 180 euros and seem to do pretty much the same thing between one another, but they're fundamentally different in their functionality. Those differences lay in the fact that your Wave XLR is just used as a preamp for your microphone and analog to digital converter. All the other processing is done digitally on your computer through the Wavelink app. Go XLR, on the other hand, takes the audio from your computer and plays and mixes all of it internally on the device itself. Additionally, if you are eventually planning to implement a dual PC setup, then Go XLR Mini is a no-brainer between these two. These audio interfaces are solid choices for content creators who are primarily streamers of gaming content. However, if you are planning to branch out into the other types of audiovisual production, then I would highly advise you to avoid both of these audio interfaces entirely. They are very specifically designed to be a tool for streamers, with the primary focus of delivering the audio signal to your computer and enhancing and simplifying the control over your audio mix alongside it. And if you have the full Go XLR, then providing additional entertainment value through the use of audio effects. Station, do you hear me? Using them for the purposes of music production, professional voiceover work, or in-person podcasting is at the very least less than ideal, and at the very worst literally impossible, because, you know, only one XLR port. Neither of them is designed to work without the computer, so they're pretty much locked to the desk in your studio, and you cannot record multi-track audio into them internally. You will have to use OBS or a DAW to record your audio channels separately. DAW means Digital Audio Workstation, and basically it's editing software. So every time someone refers to DAW, it's audio editing software. I will dedicate the next video specifically to go deep into this topic, where I will be discussing individual cases of a podcaster, a vlogger, vlogger, a Vtuber, and many others, creating an upgrade plan for each type of creator, as well as explaining the priorities for budget allocation. But if you already have the money and are unsure of the particular direction that you're going to take, but need a professional setup that can accomplish a variety of tasks that are common for a streamer and content creator, then Rodecaster Pro 2 is definitely my recommendation. Once again, Rode takes the win for me, as it packs the vast majority of features that a creator of any kind would likely need, while being incredibly user-friendly for creators at all levels of technical knowledge, honestly. Now XLR microphones. Whoa, there's so many. What do I do? Well, short and simple. Honestly, get the microphone that you like the sound of the most. That is appropriate for the job that you want to do. PodcastStage is a great creator who has probably done thousands of reviews at this point, so you can listen to practically any microphone on his voice and decide whether you like it or not. At that level, it's more about personal taste than anything else. That said, no matter what kind of microphone you prefer, it is always best to keep it close to your mouth and to sound treat your environment if you don't want to stay close to it. You can use furniture, sound blankets, moving blankets, wall panels, or as I have found out, even simple things like curtains or a big hanging green screen can improve the acoustics of your studio. The more attention that is given to the sound treatment of your space, the better, no matter what kind of microphone you're using. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, as you can drastically improve your audio just by moving your computer fans further away from your microphone, or by replacing your mouse and keyboards with the quieter ones, or plainly just using the controller whenever you can. I would advise using microphones in accordance to their purpose, such as, using studio microphones for studio environments, shotgun microphones for getting a natural sound out of frame, and the lavalier or stage microphones in situations when you need to constantly move around. But at the same time, nothing prevents you from using, let's say, a lavalier microphone for podcasting or shotgun microphone for streaming. But using microphones outside of their intended use does make it a lot easier to have unwanted sounds leak into your audio feed, which you need to address to ensure the highest possible audio quality. I mean, how many times have you seen those freaking TikToks and YouTube shorts, all those vertical videos where the guy just holds a microphone like this, and whenever he gives it to someone, they... If you don't know where to start, I can highly recommend brands such as Audio-Technica, Lewitt, Shure, Rode, Earthworks, and Electro Voice. It is genuinely difficult to make a mistake with these brands from my experience. And we have arrived to stream control. This topic deserves an entire video dedicated for it, but I'll try to describe it as shortly as I can. In 2023, there are countless tools for automating your stream, which means that if you're planning to buy an Elgato StreamDeck exclusively for streaming, I would really advise against it. StreamDeck is a very useful tool for controlling your computer and automating many of your regular actions, as it allows many integrations with other services. Currently, I'd say it's irreplaceable for simplifying your everyday PC usage, but it is quite an expensive of a solution when it comes to streaming, as there are many alternatives which cover at least 90% of the tasks for the streamer, some of which are completely free. These include Sammy, Touch Portal, StreamerBots, Atium, Mix It Up, good old regular macros, or anything else if you're able to create your own tools. I myself have been using Sammy for 2 years, controlling my stream with the buttons on my phone that is connected to the same Wi-Fi as my computer. So if you need more flexibility with stream control, then StreamDeck is frankly overrated and overpowered at the same time, somehow. There are some of the things that it actually does worse than tools such as Sammy, StreamerBot, and Mix It Up. For example, the minimum delay between each action that it can perform is 1 millisecond, whereas basically any other tool has the capability to perform several actions at once, at the same time. So do your research beforehand or ask me to do it for you in the comments below. Interaction. Are you tired? Me too. Let's have a quick tip segment right here, okay? Did you know that if you have MIDI controllers, you can use them to control Windows Audio Mixer, controlling the volume of any of your applications? Did you know that you can use a teleprompter in front of your camera and monitor your scenes while looking directly into the eyes of your viewers? Did you know that if you don't have a second monitor, you can use Twitch chat overlay to read your chat while playing the game on a single monitor? Did you know that you can allocate mundane tasks to ChatGPT, such as coming up with a title for your new YouTube video or brainstorming for new ideas? Did you know that you can set your mirrorless camera to log format, capturing the widest possible dynamic range, and apply LUTs to your stream so that your streams and YouTube videos look identical and cinematic? Let's talk about cameras. Like I mentioned in my last video, I don't know much about non-Sony branded cameras, and I do not recommend that you buy a more advanced camera than one from Sony's ZV series for streaming or YouTube videos. That said, I mean, who am I to prevent you from buying a more expensive camera with like full frame and 10-bit, but you probably already know that you need them. One thing I will mention about cameras though is that make sure that you are buying good lenses that suit your needs. If you stick with one brand of cameras like I'm planning to do, then it's a lot easier to replace a camera body to a better one with the same lens mount, as compared to changing your entire lens collection because you have switched your camera brand. Discussing camera lens is completely out of my specialty, but my choice for cropped sensor camera is a set of lenses commonly referred to as Sigma Trio, which is Sigma 16mm f1.4, Sigma 30mm f1.4, and Sigma 56mm f1.4, depending on how far away you're planning to be from camera. They're what's called prime lenses, so they cannot zoom in and out like zoom lenses do, but they usually tend to have a better quality image. I'm also happy to say that I have been accepted to a film school, finally, so you can finally refer to me as expert opinion. Yeah. And finally, lighting. There's not a whole lot to talk about here, but I guarantee you that dedicated video light can make your life so much easier, or cheap ones can make it so much more difficult. As an example, I have been using my ring light. It's a ring light! It's a freaking ring light! For my entire streaming career, after I realized that staring at a phone flash for the entire stream is not very good for my eyes. I don't have major problems so far with it, but I do have a problem with all of my RGB lights. So this is a set of 2 RGB lights from Newer. They also came with small light stands that I promptly replaced. And although their cheap construction with the fragile plastic hasn't annoyed me a whole lot, what does annoy me constantly is the wire hum that they're producing. I can't really hear any right now. Older people might not hear those frequencies, but that wire hum is very annoying to my young and relatively trained ears. It's a very sharp, high-pitched frequency sound produced at exactly 10,000 and 20,000 kilohertz, so I just equalize it out of my videos and streams, but it is very annoying to listen to when I'm monitoring myself in the headphones. This noise can also travel through XLR wires, which I have to keep very far away from my microphone. I'm not sure if it's the cause of the problem though, so if you think that I'm wrong or if you know how to fix it, then please let me know. Actually, I'm not sure if they're making this noise right now. Maybe I just cannot hear it through my earpiece. And the second problem that I have with my lights is one that I have with my practical lights on the ceiling and in the background. You see, those are not video dedicated lights, and they're also dimmable, which means that because they're connected to the AC power, they don't run constantly. They sort of work in bursts going on and off 50 times per second, in Europe that is. So the problem arises with the fact that these lights are dimmable, and the way they're dimming is not by outputting less brightness with each light burst, but by decreasing the amount of bursts per second, thus appearing dimmer to our eyes, but instead of the cameras, it causes this light line flicker phenomenon that happens with horizontal lines. They're not very pleasant to look at, but you see with the dedicated video lights, it doesn't really happen. The lights just become darker and they don't produce that flicker inside of the camera. What I want to say is please invest in good video lights. Get a light source with a large surface area as your main light or key light. That way the shadows on your face are much softer, creating a more flattering look. You can also do the same by increasing the brightness of the light and bouncing it off the white wall. That way your entire wall sort of becomes one big light source. And then with any additional light sources, use a harsher light to shape your look. It looks especially cool and cinematic when the light is coming from behind of you. As a side note, if you're a VTuber in need of management or technical support, then please feel free to apply to AVRMV VTuber agency that I'm interning at. The link is below. I hope that you have learned something from my video, and please write in the comments which topic you want me to explore in greater depth. My next video is going to be about gear. I know it's getting old, right? You can watch this video here whenever it comes out. It might not be there, but eventually it will be. Yep. Okay, bye bye.